G'day guys, my name's Ben and you're watching The Long Gun Project. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the rifle behind me, which is my new 300 Norma Magnum. Now some of you may be thinking, hang on, what happened to the 375 ShayTac? Well, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know that I'd been having problems getting that rifle to perform to the level that I felt I needed it to in order to be able to reach my goal, which was to hit targets at 2.5 Ks. And the 375 is an expensive rifle to feed. When you're not having much success and reloads are coming in at just over $5 a shot, every time you pull the trigger, it feels like you're doing a bit of this. Pew, 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 pew. So being a self-funded YouTube channel, I had a big decision to make. Do I continue to pour money into this rifle and chase the performance that I'm looking for, or do I give it away and start from scratch? And if you haven't already figured out, I ended up going with option B and let the rifle go to somebody who had far more time, energy, and money to be able to put into it. Now this left me with another choice to make. What was I going to replace it with? Now last year in a previous episode, I had the opportunity to shoot the very impressive Seiko TRG M10 in 338 Lapua Magnum, and it was an absolute hammer. And that got me thinking about 338 Lapua Magnum as a caliber choice. 338 in Australia is far more common than 375, that's for sure. But most ranges in Australia don't have a template that can accommodate a 338, but almost every centerfire range in the country does have a template that will accommodate 30 cal, and that got me thinking about the dirty 30s. So when it comes to Magnum 30 cals, there's a couple of options we can consider. I know some guys swear by the 378 Weatherby Magnum, but I'm actually looking for something a little bit more common. So if it's common I'm after, what's more common than the 300 Win Mag? Well, I've already owned a 300 Win Mag, and I was looking for more performance than it was offering, and that's actually why I went looking down the 375 path. That would then lead us to consider the 300 PRC, but the performance is probably a little close to the 300 Win Mag than what I'm after, so that left me with two other major options, the 300 Remington Ultra Mag and the 300 Norma Mag. And as you already know, of the two, I ended up choosing the 300 Norma Magnum. Now when it comes to high performance in a common caliber, this probably is the one to beat. Now before you scream at me, that's not a common cartridge, just think about this for a second. The US Special Operations Command has just adopted the 300 Norma Mag as their advanced sniper rifle cartridge, and once the US military adopts a cartridge, it very rapidly becomes common. You only need to look at the 308 Winchester and 223 Remington as perfect examples of military calibers that were adopted and then respec'd for civilian use. Now, I ordered this rifle from Practical Rifle Solutions, who teamed up with Russell at Group Solutions Gunsmithing to bring this whole package together. And I do mean package. This rifle comes with everything that you see. That includes the scope, the chassis weights, the bipod, even the cheek riser cover is included. Everything from butt plate to brake on this rifle comes with it. The only changes I've made is the addition of a spur mount with more cant to allow me to use every ounce of elevation in the scope and a Mirage shield. So I've chosen a 300 Norma Magnum as an alternative to a 338 Lapua Magnum, which begs the question, how much performance am I giving away by choosing a 30 cal? Well, I decided to do a comparison to find out, and the results on paper are very interesting. Now to do my research, I'm using the Applied Ballistics Weapons Employment Zone Analysis tool. Now this program allows you to gain a much better understanding of what factors will affect your hit probabilities at any specified range. You provide the program with the rifle and load data as well as other parameters, and then you can view the results. So it's an excellent tool for doing a basic evaluative comparison on two cartridges such as these. Now I've inputted all the environmental factors that are predicted for tomorrow morning, and the system variables reflect a high degree of ammunition consistency as well as a high degree of confidence in the ability to read the conditions. And I've nominated the precision for both rifles in the variables as half a minute of angle. We're going to look at hit probabilities on an IPSC torso target at 1 mile, which is 1,609 meters, and 2 kilometers. And we're going to start with the 338 Lapua Magnum. Now I'll be basing the rifle data off a rifle with a 1 in 10 twist, and I'll be basing the ammunition data off the excellent Seiko TRG ammunition, which I have shot, which uses a 300 grain Sierra Match King, which leaves the muzzle at 2,730 feet per second. So with that data, the 338 Lapua Magnum hit probability graph looks like this. Now that's practically 100% predicted hit rate out to 1,000 meters, and then it starts to drop away. So at 1 mile we have a predicted hit rate of 51.6%. At 2 kilometres, we have a predicted hit rate of 21.4%, which on an IPSC target at that kind of range is pretty darn good. Now let's have a look at the 300 Norma Magnum with my 245 grain Berger Elite Hunter hand load. Now we have a completely different projectile, obviously, a different velocity and a different twist rate, but all the other parameters are unchanged. So for this rifle and load on the same target, we have a hit probability graph that looks like this. Looks the same as the 338, right? Except it isn't. The back half of that graph doesn't drop away as much as the 338 does. So at 1 mile, we have a 67.4% hit probability rate. That's 15.8% more than the 338 Lapua Magnum. At 2 kilometres, we have a 29.7% hit probability rate. That's 8.3% more than the 338 Lapua Magnum. And before you say, what about the 250 grain Sierra Match King and 338 Lapua Magnum? Well, out of curiosity, I ran those numbers too, and the news definitely doesn't get any better. At 1 mile, the hit percentage is 45.4%, and that then drops to 18.3% by 2 kilometres. So that question that I posed before about what performance am I giving up by selecting a 30 cal over a 338 appears to be answered, at least on paper. I'm actually gaining performance. But like all theories, the only way to turn it into a working hypothesis is to go and prove it. And the best way to do that is for us to get out into the field and shoot. Morning guys, we're at our usual shooting spot and we've got some really good conditions today. It's quite cool, but it's clear, and we've got a little bit of breeze. It's sort of anywhere between sort of 3 and 4 miles an hour from sort of 11 o'clock to sort of switching around to 10. So a bit of an oblique wind, but that's all right. It's not too strong, so we'll manage with that quite well, I think. We're going to take our first shots at 620 metres, and we're just going to step it out from there. I'll be pretty confident that I'll be able to go from sort of 620 out to about 1,000, and then step it out to a mile, and then see if we can't go a little further. So let's get stuck in it before it gets too warm and the mirage kicks up. All right. It's not too bad. Okay guys, we've come down to the 2K target and we've got 4 impacts, which I'm really happy about. Achieved a personal best today of 2 kilometres, which I really wasn't expecting. I knew the rifle had potential and the load was good, but I really didn't expect to be achieving a personal best of 2Ks today. I thought, you know, we'd probably get to a mile, but considering how it was shooting at a mile, I was confident enough to stretch it out just that little bit further. And you know, I was hopeful because I did set up the action camera down here at 2Ks just in case. So that's pretty much it. I reckon it's probably time to pack up and head on home. Well guys, I have to say I'm really happy with the results from this morning. Stretching the rifle out to distance for the first time, I really wasn't expecting to be able to make 2,000 metres, but with the rifle shooting the way it does and the load working as well as it does, at a mile I definitely had the confidence to try and make that little extra step and get myself to 2,000 metres. So I'm super happy with that outcome. Now, if you would like to know more about Practical Rifle Solutions rifles, you can contact Steve via the link in the description below, and he in turn can also put you in contact with Russell at Group Solutions Gunsmithing in the ACT. So what's next for the Norma? Well, I'm going to try and make more consistent hits at 2,000 metres, and then I'm going to try to step it out to 2,500 metres. Now, I don't have enough elevation to go all that way. I can get to about 2,200, and then I'm going to try and make up the rest using holdovers, so I don't have to use a Nightforce wedge or a Charlie Tarak. So if I can get to 2,500 metres just using that rifle and the scope that's on it with some holdovers, I'm going to be super happy. Now, if you want to see more of this kind of shooting, let me know in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit like, share it with your friends, and also subscribe with notifications so that you can see each new video as it comes out. Guys, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again on the next episode of The Long Gun Project. See you later.